This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So let us start understanding about file listeners. What is the purpose of file listeners? So basically, why do we use listeners? Listeners means it will keep on listening for some particular data. It will keep on listening for some particular information. So for example, when you say file listener, what it will do, it will monitor a particular directory or a folder, and it will wait for any incoming file. Okay, it will wait for any incoming file. Whenever a file is coming, it is going to do some processing. That is what the file listener will do. As the name suggests, right, clearly it will say file listener listen to any file. That means it will monitor one folder or a directory where the files are going to be placed. Similarly, email listener also. The email listener will monitor one email account. Whenever any email is coming to that particular account, it is going to do some processing. Okay, so that is the job of listeners. Listeners are going to keep listening for some particular entity, like file listener will do for file, email listener will listen for email. Okay, and once it is received, it is going to do some processing. So that is the concept of this file listener here. Now you can use this file listener to listen for any incoming files on a particular directory. Once the file is received, in order to do the processing, we will be doing service. So again, just understand the concept, right? What I told you, the difference between connector and service. Connector is used for sending the request. External system will send the response. Now, whenever external system is sending the request, Pega will send the response. That is nothing but service. So if you take the same example, external system is sending the file. Now Pega has to do some processing. So what we need to use? We need to use file service. That is a service file. Same way, if you take email listener, external system is sending a request. So external system is sending an email. Now we need to send the response, or we need to do some processing. So we will use service email. Okay, for email we'll use service email. For file we'll use service file. Because external system is sending the request, we need to do some processing based on that request. That's the reason we'll use service at that time. So in order to configure the file service and file listener, we need to perform some high level tasks. Okay, so basically first thing what you need to do is we will create one parse delimited rule. So I'll tell you what is the purpose of that, what is the meaning of that parse delimited and all that. Basically parse delimited means what? Delimited means what? First of all, delimiter means like for example, you are getting the data in comma separated values. Now the delimiter is what? Comma, right? For example, you are getting the data in hyphen separated values. So the delimiter is what? Hyphen. Delimiter is like what is the separator between the data. Okay, so that is nothing but the delimiter. So that's the reason we need to first do parse delimiter. First, that's what you need to do. Okay, so again, this is also not that important topic. Okay, but you just need to understand how it works and what are the steps that we need to do. Okay, so even if you don't take an assignment also, that is fine, because as a senior developer also I have not worked on file listener, so it's not much important file listeners queue process, but you need to understand the concept. You need to know how do we configure that at least. Okay, that's the reason. So we'll go to integration mapping here, and here we have an option called parse delimited. So the parse delimited is used to map the properties to the fields in the CSV file. That means, for example, in your scenario, let us say the file listener is listening for CSV file. Okay, it is listening for some CSV file. Now whatever the data that is coming in the CSV file, we need to actually do the parsing. We need to do the parsing, right? That's the reason we'll use this parse delimiter. Okay, so the parse delimiter, it will take the columns from the Excel file and it will map to the properties. That's what it will do. Okay, so that's the reason you need to use parse delimited here. So I'll just go to here, integration mapping, click on create. And here I'll create one parse delimited rule. For example, I'll say parse Excel file. Okay, I'll give Excel file. So I'll just give some record type as something like sample. Okay. Now within the class, you need to give where your properties are present. So I told you, right, like you will get one file. Once the file is coming, you need to map that column that are present in the file to the properties that are present in your case. So this is my class where the properties are present, let us say. So that's the reason I'm giving it in this particular class. And I click on create and open. Okay, so I'm clicking on create and open. Now what you need to do, right? Now what you need to do. So what I will do is, here I'll select the option as comma separated values. That means I am getting CSV file, right? That's the reason I'm selecting comma separated values. Okay, for example, if you are not using CSV, let us say you are using some Word document. In that Word document, your data is present like this. Okay, so for example, so you want to understand how the data is present and how to retrieve the data, right? That's the reason we are doing this. So for example, you are getting the data like this. Ravi, Vega, training, like this. Now what is the delimiter here? The delimiter here is comma. Now the escape character means, what is the escape character for the second line? That means, for example, it will be new line. It means in HTML it will be like this, right? This is the escape character, right? So this is nothing but the escape character. That means what is the symbol which will indicate that it is a new line? That is nothing but the escape character here. So if you are not using CSV files, then you need to use these options. I am assuming that I'm going to use CSV data. So that's the reason I am giving it directly like this. Now here what you need to do is, now here you need to map that properties and the values. So here you need to give the column name. For example, you are using CSV file, right? Let us say that there are 3 columns. Okay, there are 3 columns. Now you will give the column name here. For example, the 3 columns are name. So then I will say map to clipboard. Okay, that means from the CSV we are mapping and we are storing it in the clipboard. That's the reason from the CSV file I am mapping it to the clipboard. Now into which property you want to map, right? Into which property you want to map. So I have these properties, right? So I'll take that similar property, like I'll say for example customer ID. Okay, and so I'll give customer ID like this here. So similarly, if you have more columns, you will add one more row and you will give the column name here, and here you will give the property name. Whatever the property is there, that property you will be giving it here. So just select clipboard and then click on dot, and for example I'll say card number, Let us say your column name is something like credit card number. So we'll give like this. So whatever the column name is there in the file, that column name you will give it here, and whatever the property to which you want to map, you will give that property name here. Okay, so that's what you do it in the parse delimiter. So the parse delimiter is used for parsing whatever the incoming file that is coming into your clipboard, so that you can understand, okay, the first column belongs to customer ID, second column belongs to credit card number, like that. Okay, so that's what you will do it here. Now next, what you need to do, so as I told you, what I told you that, see, same like service, right? Because external system is sending the request, you will trigger the response. But here also, external system is sending the file, so you need to trigger the service file. So before you create the service file, we need to create our service activity. See, for every service, there will be one service activity where you do all the logic, service logic. So you see, this is a service file, right? This is a service file. So for this to trigger, we will create one service activity first. Because all the processing, right? For example, you are getting some 3 columns, right? You are getting some 2 columns here. There is a Excel file. In that Excel file, there are 2 columns: customer ID and credit card number, and some data is there. Let us say you need to create some, you need to store this data into one particular table. You need to write that logic in that particular service activity only. Okay, so that's the reason you need to create that. Okay, so I'm just creating this one service activity. For example, I will say store customer record. Okay, so I'm saying store customer record, and this class also I'll create it in the same class. Wherever I created my parse delimiter rule, I will create the customer, this particular service activity also in the same class. Okay, and I click on create and open. So then here I will write all my logic. For now, I'll just save it without doing anything. And or you can also do one thing. So you can actually, I don't know how many of you have tried that assignment that was given to you. I told you, right? Have you done with it? PX create top case. Are you able to progress? So that just I want to give you one more method also in order to create the case, right? So we have this particular activity called call SVC add work object. Okay, so this particular service is also going to create one work object. That is, it's going to create one case. So under the flow type, you will just say py start case. So flow type means what is the name of the flow, what is the name of the flow that you want to run. Okay, so just give it correctly. Now under work page, I'll give it as py work page. So this is also one more way to create a case. Okay, this is also one more way to create a case. So for example, if I go to actions and I run this, okay, it is success. I don't know if anything is created or not. Yeah, you see this particular case is created now. which is created on 11th, right? Today is 11th. It's created now. So it's created now, and if you want, if you can run again. So this is what I was saying, right? I mean, I don't understand. It's not that much hard. So you'll create the case, and you'll simply copy the data. You'll say page dot response equal to this. That's it. So see, I'm running the activity once again. So now I have two cases created, right? So that's it. You just need to say page dot name equal to some value, page dot that is called some value, like that you need to say, and you need to run the activity again. Are you done or not with that case creation and all that?
Use it that particular property, Ravi.
Okay.
We used that particular property yesterday.
Hmm.
Due to some errors in the application, it has not worked. I am debugging those errors.
Fine. I'll just use property set here.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you. So I'm doing property set. I'll give the step page as page, and for example, I'll give some value. I'll give, for example, card number equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, some number, and I'll give, let's say, customer ID equal to 1, 2, 3, and I'll save. And the type is different. That's what it's saying. Okay. Yeah, so the type is different. Let us take another one. Let's say I take the payment type equal to bank transfer, and I'll run the activity again. What is this? Okay, Rajasthan. Okay. Okay, so just define this page here. Go road work dash assistance request. Okay, so I'm just setting these values in the case. That's what I'm doing. I'm creating the case in the first step. After creating the case, I am just simply adding this data. Okay, on that particular case, I am adding this data. So now I'll run the activity once again. So one more case is created, A3. Open the case. Now okay, so now just go to the clipboard. Ideally you should have the data, but let's see. Okay, yeah, you see the payment type equal to credit card. This is what we give, right? Bank transfer we give. It's coming this one. Card number equal to this one, right? That's what we have here. Yeah, so you need to actually write the data inside this particular flow. Okay, so that's what you need to do. So if you go to this, and if you go to data model and the data transform. I believe we'll have one initial data transform called py default, which we discussed before, right? So I believe you can append here, you can add your information here. Okay, so I'm just trying this here. Okay, I'm in py default now, and here I'll add a property. So I'll give the payment type. And I'll also give the card number. Now save it. Okay, I'm saving it, and I'll rerun this activity. So just use the tracer. Okay, if you are not able to get the result, the why is the tracer is there? Tracer is there for that purpose only, right? In order to get the right data. So now let us check again. Yeah, you see now I got the data, right? The payment type is credit card. It should be overriding somewhere, but in your case it will be working as expected. So you see the card number that I have set, it is set to the value that I have given, which is 123345. This is the one that I gave, and this is what is stored in my case also. So you can do the same thing whichever I have done now. Just you will use this method to create a case, and you will open the particular case py default, and you will write the information what should be written there. So like they mentioned, right, the name, contact number, all that. So you'll give that values, name equal to this, contact number equal to this, like that. Okay, so then you open the case, check the whether the data is there in that case or not. Clear?
Yes, Ravi.
So which case you are creating, for every single case there will be one initial data transform py default, that is the initial data transform which will run immediately when you create a case. So in that data transform you need to set the values, then whatever the values that you set, it will be displayed on the case. So try this one in order to just understand that whatever the assignment that is given to you. Okay, so to create the case, use this one. To set the values in the case, you use this one. That's a py default. Okay, so now I have created the values here. So the next thing what I need to do, obviously, for any service that I create, you need to create one service package. So I'm going to the integration resources, and I'll create one service package here. So I'll give the name of the service package as same thing, Gogoro services, or I'll just say Gogo services, right? That's what we give. And service package name is for Gogoro application. Okay, so then I will not disturb anything. Only thing that I'll change is I'll just change the access group that I want. Okay, so I'll just change the access group here. I'll give my access group which I am, which is the Gogo Road others, right? That is my access group, I believe, because with this particular access group only the service activity should be executed, right? So from which access group the service activity can be executed? that access group I am going to give, that is Gogoroad authors, and I click on save. So then what you need to do? So the next thing what we need to do is we need to create one separate rule that is called as service request processor. So what is the purpose of this? We did not yet see this service request processor. The service request processor is created when we are using multi-thread processing. Okay. So whenever we do multi-thread processing, that is when you will use this service request processor. So otherwise it is not needed. Okay. So you can just ignore that for now, and we will go ahead with this service file directly. So I'll open this service here. This is where you have all your services, right? The service rest that we have created also, it is present here itself, service rest. All the services are present under integration services. All the mapping related rules like parse delimited, parse XML, XML stream, that is present under integration mapping. All your connectors like connect rest, connect soap, all those are present under this connect integration connectors. So now I go to the integration services, I open the service file, and I'll create a new service. So what I will do here, I'll say process Excel files. Okay, I'll give this name. So under the customer package, what you need to do is you need to give the service package that you created. Okay, whatever the service package that you created, that is nothing but customer package here. Okay, under the customer class, then you will give your whatever the class that you have, right, where you are created your parse delimited and all that, that is that class you will be giving it here. So this is the class where we created our parse delimiter rule, so you will give the same class here. Okay, customer package is nothing but the service package, and customer class name is nothing but your class where your parse delimited rule is there. So where we are mapping our Excel columns to the properties. So here what you need to give is, we need to give the class where our service activity is created. Okay, so in the first step, I am giving the class where my parse delimited is there. In this step, I will give the class where my service activity is created. So we created this service activity, right? Which one? This store customer record. This is the one. So this activity is present under assistance request class. This is the class name. So this class I am giving it here. Okay. So then you can just leave this as it is. Now what you need to do is you need to go to the method, just save it. So this is how the service file looks like. Now go to the method tab, and this is where you will actually do the configuration for your incoming files. So whatever the file that is coming into the directory, how they should be processed, all that thing you will be giving it here itself. So if you want to process one record at a time, you will give a record at a time. For example, if there is multiple, if there is one file with different types, then you will give by record type, but generally you leave this as it is. Now in the record layout, you have some options called record terminator and record length. So what is that means? So this simply indicates how does the service file know that this is one file and this is the second file, this is one record and second is another record, like that. Okay, for example, if you take this notepad, right, whatever I shown, what is it, sorry, yeah, just a minute. So if you take that notepad, which I told you, right, like Ravi, comma, Kumar, comma, Pega, comma, training. So that is nothing but, let us say Ravi is one record, Kumar is one record, Pega is one record, and training is one record. So they are terminated with comma, right? So you'll give comma here. Otherwise, for Excel, what you'll give is, you will give like this, \r \n. That is how you understand that one record is ended. That is the meaning of that. So that's how you need to understand that. Okay, so record will be terminated for Excel in this format, \r \n. \n means new line, \r means new row. Okay, new row, new line. Okay, so that's how you need to understand. This is new row and this is new line. Now in the request tab, so within this parse segments section, we will map the data from the file to the clipboard. Okay, or you can use the parse rule that you created. That is also fine. Whatever the parse rule that you created, that also you can use. So let us do the same thing. What I will do is, we have created one parse delimiter, right? So I'll just say down arrow, then here you need to select delimited parse rule, because we created one parse delimited first, which is going to take care of mapping the data that is present in the file to the properties that are present in clipboard. This is going to take care of that. So in the map to key, what you need to do, you need to just select this, whichever you created. This is the one that we created, parse excel file dot sample. That's what we created, right? So that's what I'm doing. Now in the activity, whatever the activity that you created, you select that activity. That's it. So this is how you generally configure your service file. So what I have done, just I will reiterate, not yet saved, right? Right, still saving. So first I created one parse delimiter rule. Why? What is the purpose of parse delimiter? Parse delimiter will generally map the columns that are present in the Excel to the properties that are present in a class. Okay, whatever columns that are coming, whatever the data is there in that particular column, it will map to a particular property. Okay, it will map to a particular property. For example, you have customer ID column in the Excel. It will map to the customer ID property in that particular class. That's what the parse delimiter will do. Then we created an activity which is going to basically do the logic once the file is received, what logic you want to do. In my case, I created one case by using this svc add work object. It will create one case. Then we created the service package. Then we created the service file. Okay, so this is what we have done here, and I have saved it now. So then what next? Now we need to configure our file listener. So I have created service package. I created the parse delimited. I created the service activity. Then finally you need to configure our file listener. So in order to configure our file listeners, all the listeners are present under integration resources. This is where you will see file listener. Just click on that. Now click on create. Okay, just click on create. Now here I'll give the name of that as check Excel file. Okay, so it will say listen to Excel files. Now click on create and open. Okay, so now I clicked on create and open. So now what you need to do, what next? So I was telling in the beginning, right, that file listener, what it will do, the file listener will keep on monitoring a particular directory where the files will come, and whenever any file is coming to that particular location, it is going to process that file. So here you need to provide the path where you need to listen for that file. So for just understanding, I'll just give, like, for example, D drive, and this will be your server path. Okay, so but since we don't have access to the server, I'm just giving like this. So the location is this one. Now, how do I know what file is coming, right? For example, the file name can be something like some abc.csv, xyz.csv, or it can be something like customers.csv. Here we can use something called regular expressions. Okay, so how do you use regular expression? You will just simply say star.csv. That means any file that is of CSV extension, it is going to keep on monitoring. Any file that is of CSV extension, it will be monitoring that particular file. So that's what it is going to do it here. Okay, so now here I will select my service package, and here I will select the service class, and here I'll select my service activity, sorry, the service package. So the service package, service class, and service activity, these three things I am taking it here, and this is nothing but service rule, service file. Okay, service package, service class, service file, three things you need to select it here, and you will save it. So you can actually do this disable case sensitivity also. That means independent of any case it will work. That means, see what is mean by this, right? Any name, this can be any name .csv, then it is going to detect that as valid file. For example, you want to process one PDF, then what you will do, you'll use star.pdf. Any PDF file that will come to this particular directory, it is going to immediately call this particular service file rule. Okay, it's going to call this particular service file rule. So that's what it is going to do. Okay, now let's go to the process tab, and here you can just leave all these things empty. Just only thing you can just do is ignore duplicate file names. Okay, so that if you get any duplicate file names, you can just do that. And if you want to get any report, for example, once the file processing is done, whether it is successfully processed, for example, in that particular Excel file you have 100 records, it is able to save only 20 records. So if you want to get that report information, you can select this option called generate the report file. Otherwise you don't need to do that. Now if you want to do any attempt recovery, then you can select this option and you will save it. That's it. So these are the configurations that you need to do in order to handle the file listener. So the only requirement is, whenever you are using a file listener, you need to make sure that you have access to this particular directory where the files are coming. You need to have the access to this directory where the files are coming. You need to request the access for that. Once the file is coming, then automatically this service file will take care of everything. So you can just click on test connectivity. So you see, that's the reason it is saying invalid source file, invalid source location. For example, I believe I can give webwb. Let's see. Just save it. www is not there. WB directory is not there. Yeah, I told you, right? Like I told, within your Pega instance, wherever your Pega is installed, in that particular directory, you need to have access to that particular location. Then only you will be able to test whatever the configuration that you have done. So that's it. You need to just check this configurations, and then you are ready to do that. So just you need to have the access to that particular place, and whenever you are placing anything in that particular file, then the rest of the thing will be taken care by your service file itself. Okay, so these are the configuration that you need to perform while using a file listener. So just do this configuration, try to complete all the steps, then you just try to understand why we are using that particular configuration, what is the purpose of that, and also you try to use this particular method which I told you to create the case. Like we created 3 cases by running this activity, which is calling this particular activity called svc add work object. Now after creating the case, then you, as I told you, you open the py default data transform of that particular case, and you write the properties like name, contact number, whatever they mentioned in the document. You just set that particular properties in that particular data transform. Then you create the case, then the values will be present on that particular case. So like this, right? This is what I have showed you. So just do this one. You will be able to complete that assignment by this one. Okay. Yeah, so just follow these procedures whatever I told you. Again, it's not that important, that mandatory that you need to do that, but that service rest and connect rest, whatever we discussed, that are important. So just follow whatever the activity that I gave you. Just try to use the same activity and see whether you are able to complete that or not. Okay, is it clear? And also just do the steps, try to follow whatever the steps that I showed you, whatever the things that I mentioned. Just try to practice that and see whether you are able to get that or not. You see, whenever I added the service package to this particular service rule, automatically it is displaying that this particular service rule is using this particular service package. That's what it is saying. Okay, fine. Yeah, just follow these things, try to replicate whatever I have done today and try to use this method. Any questions, guys? Whatever we discussed today?
Ravi, we use a delimiter for every record, right? Comma. Can I use different delimiters at the same time? I mean, Ravi, comma, Kumar, hyphen, Pega, hyphen, trainer, like this.
You can use, but delimiter means it will only use, say, whatever the data that you are getting should be separated by one particular symbol. That symbol only you need to use. But if it is having multiple delimiters, means it will not work. Okay. By default, CSV file means comma separated values. That is the purpose of that. Excel is there, CSV file is there, right? Excel will not allow you to delimit by using comma, but whereas CSV file, CSV full form itself is comma separated values. Even though it looks like Excel, in the back end, the data will be coming as comma separated values. That is the advantage of CSV file. So that's the reason generally most of the time we use CSV file only for files. Okay.
Okay.
Try to follow this, and tomorrow we'll see how to send an email from Pega to your Gmail or wherever, right? So we'll see that particular concept tomorrow, and we'll see the correspondence thing also tomorrow, and I'll give you on POC application, which you can start from Saturday. You will go through that and you'll start working on that. Okay, so you can work for 1 week. After 1 week, we'll review whatever you have done. Meanwhile, if you are getting any issues also, we can connect and see that. Okay, anyways, I will inform you what is the procedure. I'll inform you tomorrow. Okay, fine then. Just go through these things, right? Go through this today's session and also go through that activity which I told you to create the case. See you then tomorrow.